welcome back. I'm your host, DeQuell Jackson, and you're tuning in to Athletes Unplugged. Today's guest is unlike our typical guest. He's a rising actor and comedian right here from the Washington, D.C. area. You can find him at his very own podcast called Sports and Street Talk with his two co-hosts. He's had guests from the likes of Young Buck, Quinn Cook, Black China, and last but not least, Freeway Ricky Ross. You can also catch him on his very own comedy special, which he recorded and filmed, called Problematic, on all major media platforms. And you can also catch him on the big screen. He was in two movies that I know of called Holiday Heartbreak and Christmas Lottery. Please welcome in my good friend, Rob Gordon, who he's going to take us through a journey, which I don't know how it happened, but a guy with a master's degree in architecture become this actor / comedian. So Rob, what's going on, bro? How you doing?
What's up, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. It was long-winded, man. You got a huge resume, bro.
I appreciate it. It's still growing, but did you read that or did you memorize that?
You know what? I memorized some stuff, but I just let it flow. I was looking at your face, man. I almost messed up.
I'm like, don't mess up.
No. Hey, man. So I always ask every guest that's on here, obviously COVID we want to put it in our review. And, for someone that's in the entertainment business like you, how has that affected you and your business and your line of work?
I'm going to be honest, bro. It sucks. Like we got a message. Well, my girl got a message the other day about they actually implementing the vaccine. Like you have to have the vaccine in order to go on set. And then it's just, COVID protocol, like going on movie sets and on any set, like they haven't stopped COVID testing and, mass protocol, like all of that stuff is still in full effect in our world. So, I mean, it's affecting the business. It's not as fast as it once upon a time was. And it sucks, but.
Yeah, but it seems. Listen, I follow you on Instagram. That's the only way I can keep up with you because you're from LA, DC, all over. And we were talking a couple of days ago, and you told me you were actually filming a project with Vernon Davis at Players TV. Yeah. Can you talk about what that project was about? And I saw some cooking and some comedy. Like, what was that all about?
It was dope. It's dope. So we got a show called Cooking with the Stars that we're producing over with Players TV. This is actually the second iteration that we're doing episode. The first episode we had Terrell Owens on. This episode we had Russell Peters on.
Okay. Another comedian, right?
Yeah, Russell Peters is a world national touring comedian. He's the number one selling touring comedian in the world.
Wow.
And good friend of mine, good friend of Vernon. So we decided to have him on, and it was a dope show. It was an amazing show. And basically on the show, we talk, we cook. Oh, we had Josie. Josie, I forgot about Josie. Josie's she was a guest on there as well. And so we talk, we cook, and we have a good time, man. It's a good show. It's a good show. You should come on, man.
Okay. Listen, I get the invite. I'll be there. Listen, as long as I got a microwave, I can get it done, bro.
Yeah. We have you. We should have you on the show, man.
That'd be fun. I would love to. So who does the cooking though? Without giving out the secrets of the show, but
we do the
cooking. Are you cooking your own recipes, or they kind of already have some?
Essentially, you would bring your own recipe. So like something that you like to do, like you look like a barbecue rib. You know what I'm saying? Like
I am, but I got one for you, bro. Wifey will tell you.
Yeah.
So back in Florida, I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
And my grandfather used to do all the cooking. So this is my favorite meal. I can eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's grits.
Okay.
In one pot.
Right.
Tomatoes, like tomato sauce or whatever, and the big tomatoes, and any piece of meat, either be sausage or bacon, and a biscuit, bro. I can eat it every day, all day. But wifey, hold on. But wifey, she put in truffle seasoning in the grits and some type of cheese, and she put her twist on the tomatoes, and that joint is banging, bro. Every time she asks me what I want to eat, I'm like, you know what I want, baby.
You know, like, don't even play. You know that one meal, yeah.
So let me go back to something I brought up in the intro with you having. I learned this recently that you have a master's degree in architecture. Yeah. So fun fact for you, and you probably don't know this. Why would we ever talk about it? But that's what I actually wanted to be when I was younger.
Get the heck out of here.
I promise you, bro. I used to always draw. Like I got a bunch of, you can't see it right now, but I got a bunch of notebooks from from my NFL career, 11 years of notebooks. But when I was young, so I used to doodle in them, and like in the meeting rooms, I would see a guy that that ain't the kindest on the eyes, and I'll draw a silhouette of him, and I'll post that joint and color it in and leave it in the meeting room. So, but when I was younger, bro, I used to want to draw like structures and create things and what have you. But besides all that, bro, how did you decide that from a master's degree in architecture that comedy and acting was in your future?
I didn't. Actually, I'm gonna be real with you. It picked me, man. I was in my career. I was in my my major, and at the time I was playing football at college, and me and my friend group, we got a group of friends. It's 8 of us, and we all play ball. And we made a decision when we first came in because we was the #1 recruiting class in the country at the time.
Right.
And we said we're not gonna be just athletes. We're gonna be smart. We was probably the first ones to say more than an athlete at that time.
Right.
And so we all chose majors. I got a boy that's a history major, a guy that's an engineering major, one that's a psychiatrist.
And what college were you at?
I went to Hampton University.
Hampton, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one is a graphic designer. So we all kind of chose like real majors because in college when you play ball, they try to give you like basket weaving and gym.
Right.
Teacher. And so we were like, nah, we're gonna actually pick real majors. So I actually stuck it out. I got to my senior year, and I ended up I got hurt my junior, like my red shirt sophomore year, which was my junior year. And then my senior year, I was like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I went home. I talked to one of my friends. I ended up meeting with my god brother, and he was like, man, don't go back on that field and you'll get hurt. And then I ended up, so I couldn't really do what I wanted to do, and I had some extra classes.
That's big of you, if you don't mind me interrupting for a second. That's big of you because most guys, when you go to college I don't know if we use on a full scholarship or you're playing football.
Yeah.
Like most guys have a dream of playing at the next level. The fact that you were able to and you had guidance. Somebody was like, hey man, listen, let's think about this other route for a second. But go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
I mean, I wanted to take my shot, and I think I was talented enough to take my shot. But then I got real with myself, and I'm like, do I really want to continue to put my body through this? At the time, I had just
no doubt.
Had a major injury. I had an ACL surgery.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I'm talking to certain people, and it just so happened to that spring break I ended up at Frank Gore's house randomly. So
that's my man. Yeah,
Frank, right? And Frank done had 3 or 4 ACL surgeries.
No doubt.
So I talked to Frank, and I'm talking to Frank, and Frank is like, I done had 4 ACL surgeries. I'm still playing. And I'm like, do I really want to go through this 4 times?
Right.
Just to get a shot at the league. And I was just like, nah. So then I went back to college that next semester, and I had a free elective. And I was like, dang, where are all the girls going to be at? Because I'm not really trying to do the work. And I was like, all of them was jumping in the acting class. So I'm like, let me jump on over here to this acting class. Work. I mean, acting shit.
So you did it on the strength of just being, be around some ladies. I feel you.
I did it on the strength of being the ladies. And man, I walked into the acting class my first day, bro. I lied to you not. And I'm looking around for the teacher, and they like 15 minutes late. Right. And in college, 10-minute grace period, right? After 10-minute grace period, you can walk out the class. I'm literally about to walk out the class, bro. I lied to you not. And in walks Anjanou Ellis. I don't know if you know who Anjanou Ellis is. She's a big actress.
I do.
She's been in movie with she actually has a new movie with Will Smith. She plays Venus and Serena's mom.
Yeah.
So that was my first acting coach, and she walks in the class, and she's like, I'm gonna be teaching this semester. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, so we don't got like a regular teacher? She was like, well, I'm off. You know what I mean? I took a sabbatical from acting. I always wanted to, teach. And so I just chose Hampton and so that was my first acting experience, like with her. And I had seen her in Undercover Brother, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're doing here, God, but I'm listening. You know what I'm saying? I was very attentive and very intentional with that class. And then that one thing led to another. Then I ended up doing we had a competition called the Mr. Pirate competition. And you had to do a talent. You had to have
so let me ask you this. So I mean, listen, most people, you said like it was an easy transition for you, but most people can't be vulnerable in an acting class. Right. I would imagine, you come from being this macho football player, tough guy, and all of a sudden you walking in this theater room with all these different personalities, and now you have to completely disarm yourself and be vulnerable.
Yeah. It was tough. It was tough, but I had some dope people that was in my class that kind of helped me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they were like, they was like, you don't have to necessarily disassociate yourself with that hard macho person like that. You bring that with you, and then you add other elements to that to make you a better actor. And I'm like, okay, all right. So it was like you already have the macho piece. Like you don't have to disassociate that piece, but you have to add in, a little bit of feminine piece to the masculine piece, and it'll move you out. And I'm like, all right, you know what I mean? And so that kind of helped the transition. And then I did this little competition called the Mr. Pirate competition, and we had to do a talent. And bro, I'm like, I don't got no, you know what I'm saying?
That's a lot of pressure, bro.
That's a lot of pressure. And so my boy was like, you funny, do stand up. I'm like,
really?
Yeah. I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let me try. But come to find out, nigga, you don't just do stand up. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? So that went terribly wrong. And
so let me ask you, you said it went wrong, but like, did you write something out or did you freestyle it?
I attempted to, you know what I'm saying?
What was the period like when you knew you was going to do it? Was it like a week turnaround or 2 weeks?
No, I was like, you get a month. You know what I'm saying? Like they give you a month.
Bro, there is no way I could have done anything like that, bro. There is no way.
You get a
month.
The
fact that you were able to stand in front, how many students you're talking about? Like
15,000?
What?
Yeah, we was in the convocation, well, not the convocation center, the theater. Like we had a theater.
What? 15,000 people?
Yeah.
Wow. So I've heard a story.
It's like it was no different than playing ball, right? It was no different than playing ball.
No, listen, bro. No. To you, yes.
Look, don't mess with my thought process.
Okay. Go ahead.
It's nothing different than playing ball. Like that's how I tell myself to psych myself up.
True.
But it's never like playing ball, because ball, you run out on that field, you got your teammates, you got your brothers there. When you on that stage, you by yourself. Nigga. If it go wrong, it's on me. So
yeah.
So the first time I performed in front of that many people, it went wrong. It went terribly wrong. It went bad. I got the video. The video's on YouTube. It went bad. It went bad for me.
I mean, listen, in your profession, like I was gonna wait to hold off on it, but since you brought it up now, but how many times did you have to bomb on stage to know to know that when you recorded Problematic? I know I'm skipping a long ways here, but
it's a long way. That's 9 years.
It's a long way. Yeah. You've been doing this for over 10 years, right?
10 years, brother. This will be
a year from that moment when you bombed on stage. Okay, I know you said you brought a lot of the mentality from a football mentality, that tough mentality, over to what you're doing now at that time.
Yeah.
What was it like? What was your thought process like? Because I've heard other I'm a huge comedy fan, if you don't know this or not.
No, you definitely are.
Like I love to laugh. I love comedy. I love to see what goes on in y'all minds, to think of the shit that y'all think of and how to, execute it and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But what happened? What was going through your mind at that time when you bombed? Was it like, damn,
this ain't it. let me. I'm gonna go focus on the acting. I'm pretty good over here.
Right. So did you put it down and then focus on the acting?
So I did. I dropped it for a second. So that semester, I really didn't go home much because that's when I
And what year was this? If I can interject for 1 second.
This was 2010. 2010.
Okay.
That year, 2010. So I put it down. After that show, I put it down and I focused strictly on acting and taking that class. Right, I was like very intentional about that class. And so after that class, I went home that summer, and my boy was like, "Yeah, man, you still trying to do the comedy thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So we went to a comedy club that summer. And
do you remember the name of this comedy club?
Nah, the first comedy club I don't specifically remember. So we went. It was in, I know it was in Laurel off Route 1. And so we went there, and I was supposed to meet with Chris Thomas. My uncle knew him or whatever. I walk in and Tony Woods is on stage killing. And so I'm like, okay, this is what it looks like to be in a comedy club. Because I did it on a main stage, but I hadn't, I just did what I thought. Like, you see Def Jam, whatever, you did what you thought. And so I walked in, I said, okay, so this is like really comedy. And so he threw me up. And I did I did an impersonation and stuff like that.
Were you prepared for it? Did you already knew like
again unprepared?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Undamn prepared.
Okay. I see a theme. Okay.
You see a theme here, right?
Right.
So then, I do okay at that show. I did okay. So that was like my second show. So then my first official, what I call my first official stand-up comedy night, was down at the Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club in Temple Hills, Maryland.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to that club. Because it's no longer open. But I did my first official set there. And then that's when I was around real comics. I was around real stand-up comedians. I got to see, what the trenches, what we call the comedy trenches, like the stage, the fans, the comics off to the side talking shit while the other comedians on stage. You know what I mean? They judging your set. I got to really see all of it.
It's boot camp. It's boot camp.
It's like training camp. You know what I mean? Like the rookies is out there playing and the vets is off to the side talking shit. Like it's really like that, bro. And I went up and I did my set, and I was young in the game, man. And so at that time, I saw a comic by the name of Lawrence Owens, who ended up later on being my mentor. Shouts out to Lawrence. He was at that time, man. He was the best thing to me. Like he was phenomenal. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, I want whatever that is, like whatever he's doing, I want to do that. And so I just kind of like, I got up under him and just started learning. And then I started learning about different comics, and we start traveling around and we start moving here, moving there. And dog, it was like I'm really in this shit.
You're in
so
it.
I went back and I'm like, yo, I'm a comic now. And they was like, you ain't a comic, because everybody judging me based off one performance, right? And I'm like, I'm a comic now, like I'm a real comedian. And they like, all right, you know what I'm saying? They didn't believe me. And then, life goes on fast forward. And then I start having these different relationships because, as a comic, you travel, right? So you meet people at different stages of their career. You don't know who's going to blow up and who's going to be this person or who's going to be that person. So you meeting people at different phases of their career. Right. So fast forward later, I got all these relationships. People like, how you know such and such? How you know such and such?
Yeah.
And the trenches,
right? Because there's no master class for how to be a comedian, right? No. You basically learn. It's baptism by fire.
By fire. Yeah.
So after your Laugh Out Loud, first official comedy show.
Yep.
I read someplace you were part of the American Black Film Festival. Is that right?
So I just won. I won that. I won a runner up in that joint recently. So
were you there before or no?
So in
2013.
I like what you did right there. I like what you did.
Because I want to dive into. So you have this. You go back to campus like, I'm a comedian now. Everyone's giving you, man, you ain't no comedian.
You ain't no damn comedian.
You ain't no comedian. Like, get out of here with that.
Get out here and run these games.
Right.
Get out here and run these games. We got a game Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So of course I go back to football, right? So I'm back in football. I'm doing that. You know what I mean? And I'm still kind of chasing the football thing. My red shirt senior year, I got a coach, man. I won't mention his name on the thing because I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, disrespect him. He probably still coaching college football, but me and him just wasn't seeing eye to eye, bro. I'm supposed to start my senior year. He brings in a transfer from Syracuse.
Well, you know how it is. Like once you have a guy back in those days, they only wanted you to play. They wanted you to have tunnel vision and only play football. They didn't realize guys had other talent. So and so I'm coming in the camp. I'm talking about this comedy thing, and then he brings in a transfer from Syracuse. And in our world, the football world, especially in the college world, if you get a transfer, 9 times out of 10, they want the transfer to play. So I'm like, dude, I've been here. You know what I'm saying? I waited. I done played behind. All of these guys, right? That's in the league and paid your dues.
I paid my dues. I learned from Jerome Mathis. I learned from these guys. Like I paid my dues, bro. Like I'm here. Like I've been here. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Right.
And the year before I had played, you know what I'm saying? I returned kicks. Like I did everything I was supposed to do.
Did everything asked of you.
Everything that I was asked of, you know what I'm saying? Everything. And so, you know, me and him just didn't see eye to eye, man. And at that time, I was like, man, fuck it. I was coming off my knee injury, and I'm like, man, to hell with this, dog. Like I'm a finish the season because I'm not gonna quit on my teammates because they expected me to be here, even in the capacity of just, you know, returning kicks. So I just go back to returning kicks or whatever the hell, and whatever happened. And so, you know, fast forward, and that summer we get out, and I go down to my godmom is like, so I hear that you're taking acting classes. I'm like, yeah, you know, I think I want to kind of get into this entertainment thing. So she like, well, I want to take you down. I'm gonna take you and your godbrother down to Miami, and I'm gonna introduce you to a couple people. I want y'all to.
That's big for a family member to, you know, because you had spent, you know, your years in college, again, you know, football, you know, and you thinking about other things past football. So yeah, please continue.
So yeah, so she takes us down to Miami, and she gets us the passes, and we doing that whole thing. And so then at that specific year, Will Packer was at the festival, and so we went to this event, and I saw Will Packer, and he was talking about his trajectory on how he started at FAMU, and him and his partner, I think Robert something, I forget his last name, but him and his partner, and how they started, and then the first movie that they did, which was Trois, and then how it evolved from there, and then they become, you know, they get this big opportunity to do Think Like a Man with Steve Harvey, and then that movie gross $100 million and blah 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 blah. So at that point, I start being a student of the film game. I'm like, if I'm gonna get into this, I gotta be as intentional as I was with football, right? So when I lined up against somebody, from week to week, I knew your tendencies, I knew what you did,
no doubt,
you didn't do, how you open your hips. If he opened his hips, if he didn't, on kick returns, I knew if I'm running left and I return it and I really intended to turn it on the right, I gotta push left and then go right. So like I knew
okay, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was very intentional.
Right. You're a student of the game.
I knew I'm a student, so I said if I'm gonna be in this, I'm gonna be a student of this. So I made it my business to learn every black director, every black producer, every black film house. And then I was like, okay, now you know the black stuff. Now you need to learn the white stuff. So I'm like, okay, I need to know who's connected to who is Warner Media, who is this, who is that, and I needed to know who the executives. Like I needed to learn everything. So I made it intentional. So I'm like, I was very intentional in learning early in the game, like who was the right person to talk to.
Right. I mean, it shows, man. Like I followed you do you remember the first time we met? I don't know if you do. I remember the first time. The first time I remember we met was at Gold's Gym, and was it Columbia, Maryland? I think he was working out with DJ Quicksilver or something like that.
Oh,
and at the time, like your beard wasn't grown in all the way. It was still a little shadow. It was still a little. You had a little shadow, and I'm thinking like, because it's high school guys, college guys, and pro guys, and I'm like. DJ Quicksilver, he's not the tallest guy in the room, but you know he's the grown man.
Guy in the room, right?
He's a grown man. But I saw you particularly. You was quiet. You was doing your thing, and I remember saying, like, damn, he must be a sophomore in college or something like that. He's a grown ass man at this time,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Don't play me.
Hey, your beard grown in nice, man.
Right. I appreciate it.
So what I want to bring up is, so at what point, as you become a student of the game and you go through you bomb on stage, you go to laugh out loud, now you're hooked. You know, at some point, I go back a couple years ago, and when I would see videos pop up, like I had an alert. Anytime you had a video pop up, it needed to alert me because the shits was hilarious. And I remember you doing a skit as a recent through COVID with, I think his name is Earl Cofield.
Earl Cofield.
Is that his name? You had a dap challenge. Dap challenge. And bro, the two dap challenges that I fell out laughing, bro, was the Karate Kid and the God's got your back, bro. When I saw that, oh my God. So for those who don't know, Rob is the hardest working guy I've known in this business. I've watched him, from the very first time we met over probably close to 10 years ago, and to see where he is now. the guy, you had a show called Whose Man Is This with Earl, I believe, the DAP Challenge. But the one is my all-time favorite, bro.
Which one?
I don't know. You got to tell me how long ago it was.
What you gonna say?
Yo, Lil Freaky Tay's funeral home.
Oh.
Yo, what you say?
I get to bring that back, bro.
Man, bro, you had the whole Snaggletooth look.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Were you in the real cemetery?
That's the real funeral. That's real.
Hey, listen, bro. When you said y'all located next to Plead and Fifth, next door to the
located between Plead and Fifth Avenue. Yeah.
Yo, that's my all-time favorite, bro. I recently saw that, bro. I was like, man, this dude has been working his ass off, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring Freaky back, bro. I'm gonna bring him back. He gonna have a tire shop. I'm gonna bring him back.
Yo, I gotta see Lil Freaky Tay, bro.
I'm gonna bring him back, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, so when I first started, even doing the comedy piece, like I started with characters, bro. Like Bammers wouldn't even know. Like I can do characters like nobody's business, bro. Like I can jump in a character, like I can literally jump in and out of character like it ain't nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? Like so that's how I started, like doing the skits and stuff like that. Before the stage stuff was really popping, before I wanted people to know that I was a stand-up comedian, I started doing the skits first. I was doing the skits and focus on skits and skit writing. But yeah, Freaky Tay was one of the first characters I created. But I had to put them in the back of my mind because I didn't know like how I wanted to
how to present them
to the world, right?
Right.
So I had this.
you know what it gives me, bro, Rob. You know what it gives? It gives me from Martin. What's his name? Roscoe. Is it Roscoe? It gives me not Roscoe. The pimp.
Oh, Jerome in the
Jerome.
Jerome in the house. Watch your mouth. I watched that show, dog. That was my favorite. I would say Martin was like, as a kid, he was kind of like, I didn't even know. Subconsciously, you watch certain stuff, right? So me and my dad used to watch Def Comedy Jam. Like I used to sneak downstairs when my sister, my mom was asleep, and me and my dad would watch Def Comedy Jam. And subconsciously, I would see that, right? And then I would watch the Martin Show, right? And then so subconsciously, you take these things,
right? I
never knew that I was going to be a comic and that it would re-emerge in my life, right? So it's crazy how like little early on things like kind of form you as a person. And so then like Freaky Tay is actually a real person, bro. This is a real person that I know, bro.
Man, get out of here, man.
I swear to God, bro.
I gotta meet him. I gotta meet him. I gotta beat it, bro. I gotta beat it. You gotta go live or do something, bro, and make a video with Lil Freaky Tay,
bro. That you will
stop it,
and you be like, yo, this is not a real, like this nigga's not a real person, bro. Like, and so I always kind of like when I meet somebody that's like a weirdo or something, like and they do something, I always put it in the back of my head. I'm
okay. Let me ask you this: so comedians, I want to get into the weeds and into your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
As a comedian, you just mentioned when you meet someone, do you have like a notepad or your notes or section of your phone where if you have an idea, you jot it all down?
I do have a place sometimes, but most of the time, believe it or not, most comedians have amazing memories, right? Like so, we have like phenomenal memories. Like you'll remember something like just like 8 months, you know what I'm saying, 20 months ago that happened in the ministry in the back of the alley. You like, how the fuck did he remember that? Like, you know what I mean? Like just the small little idiosyncrasies. You'd be like, yo, how do you know that? Like,
right. You know so do you have a process of when you wanna sit down? Yeah, I don't want you to give out your secret, but obviously I figure everyone has a process that's different.
I mean, it's nothing crazy. Like I literally write my life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I mean, like if somebody was like, yo, what's your sauce? Like I write my life. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if anything happens in my life, like if anybody sees my next special and they're upset, it's upset, but you should. Don't be upset at me for reporting the news.
Well, I know I can't make the cut because your pool game, you got to take that back in the shop, bro.
No.
Because I was walking past it earlier. My chalkboard, I got to hit all my victims on that.
No, you don't. I was like, you erased the truth off that board because I beat you twice, and nobody was there to witness.
Never.
I should have recorded it. You know what? That's the reason I recorded.
Nobody remembers that.
Nigga, I beat you. But
No,
one
you
thing I'll
didn't.
tell you
No,
though,
you didn't.
DQ, you know you're the first person that ever let me try that Louis the 13th, and I thank you for that.
Really?
That was
Hey, you know what? You're my guy, man. You're my guy, man. We had a night. We was vibing that night, man. And
man,
you was being funny. I mean, it was just a vibe, bro. It was a vibe, and I appreciate that.
That was because
I don't let anybody just sip on that because you know what I mean. That's personal.
Bro. I ain't gonna lie. hey, for those out there that have not tried it, man, look, if you get an opportunity to try that, man, that Louis the 13th will change.
It's amazing. So speaking of drinks, I hear you. Are you into wine at all?
I am.
Okay.
I actually recently just inquired to your wife about a wine that y'all had put up on her page.
Yeah.
And she was like, "It's so good." I'm like, I gotta come over. Y'all gotta order me something.
Next time you in town, hit me up. We're part of a membership in DC called the Wine Lair. We store our really exclusive wines there where it's membership only. We can come in, have a couple drinks. I have some some tequila there that's special. I got my special stuff there. My special sauce. Yeah.
We got to do that. Yeah, because y'all be drinking some good stuff.
Hey, listen, man. I mean, with us, it started with our first trip. Our first big trip we took was we went to Italy. And we went to we visited a winery called Castellare. And we just fell in love with the process. It's like we can relate because football and comedy is preparation.
Yeah.
And once I realized before you open the bottle, like I'm drinking some white wine right now from Stellenbosch, South Africa, where we visited. And once you get a chance to experience and see what goes into that bottle, you appreciate the process. And then after that, it just kind of evolved, and then now we pair it with food that we have. And, we're not connoisseurs or anything like that, but we enjoy it.
Sommelier, that's what it sounds like.
I have fun with it. If you want to come over, we can talk about it. But it's subjective. It's subjective, right?
Subjective. It's like it's like comedy. It's subjective. Mm-hmm. Everybody's not going to be necessarily a fan of the work that you put out. You know what I mean? But or the wine that you put out. But somebody gonna like it somewhere, and so you kind of direct it towards the people that like it. So
so let's go back to 2013 was your first time going to the American Black Film Festival. Yeah, and then recently
I went back.
I saw you went back and you won it all. The last time I heard you was a semifinalist.
I was a semifinalist, and then I came in second. I came in the second round.
Oh, you won. That's winning, bro.
I mean, I won. Yeah. I mean,
how many comedians were there, man? Like
300 comedians submitted.
Wow. Hold on, man. All right, man.
300 comedians.
I'm gonna give you your roses, man. That's big. That's big time.
300 submitted. 16 finalists. 5 semifinalists, and then I took the 2 spot. So
can you name who actually won it? Do you remember his name?
My boy, oh shoot, dang, I just saw his name yesterday.
Don't worry about it.
It don't matter.
We're talking about you. We're talking about Rob Gordon. And by the way, let me drop this. You can catch Rob on his Instagram at It's Rob Gordon. Please check him out.
Please do. But he been in the game for a minute. So I look at it like this, right? He been the guy who actually won it. He's been in the game 20 years. So he's 10 years my senior, right?
Wow.
And so in that regard, did he win? Yes, but
okay.
No.
Okay.
I look at it like it's still competitive for me, right?
No doubt.
I don't look at other people's career and be in competition, but I come from that world of football, so I'm looking at it like a competition, like years in the game, like you know what I'm saying. You got a lot more years.
Yeah, obviously. Experience is experience. There's no way to cut through it. You have it or you don't.
Right.
And So let me ask you, with your years of experience of doing I call it skit or sketch comedy.
Sketch comedy.
Like I love the comedy. I love a range of comedy. I love like the storytelling comedy. Yeah. I just recently was at the Dave Chappelle show. I love the way he's.
I texted him and I talked to Red, And Earthquake, how was that?
It was amazing, bro. It's he gives you insight, he storytells, he makes it funny, and he challenges you up top.
Yeah.
And he was able to interact with the crowd and keep the flow. I love that. But I also love like random like Kirby enthusiasm,
I love
humor. Like that awkward, funny, just Will Ferrell type funny, quirky.
Yeah.
The range of comedy goes from here to here for me.
Yeah.
So in your experience in your years of doing sketch comedy and doing videos and having shows like Whose Man Is This with Earl Cofield and all these different things, have you ever run into a skit where it brought you some like real backlash or controversy or what happened?
Man, yeah. So a lot of people don't know this because I try to bury it in my file. so I started off doing one of my very first skits that I did. It was a skit called Driving While Black. And man, when I tell you I got so much backlash from that skit, bro, man, that thing. How long ago was this? How long ago was this? Like when I first started, this was probably like my second year doing comedy.
Right.
And you know how you say like everybody be like, I want to blow up.
But you weren't built. You hadn't developed that callus yet for the backlash.
I wasn't ready, nigga. I wasn't ready. So you know how you get into something and you like, bro, I'm about to blow up. I'm about to do this.
Right.
Man, when I say this was the second skit that I did, and it went viral. It went viral. I'm talking about like these kids now talking about going viral. Now I went viral. I was the first nigga to go viral. I'm talking about real viral. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about CNN calling my phone, calling my phone. Like this is real shit. I had to get a publicist, bro. Like I was scared as shit. I'm like, yo, this.
So I need to go back and check out the video, bro.
You can't find it. I had it wiped from the internet.
Okay. Because I was doing some search, a little soft search.
You might be able to find it. It's this one dude. Matter of fact, angry man, and I'm gonna show you. Watch how my career fucking parallels. Angry Man from Martin, the dude who's Angry Man on Martin, has a YouTube page. He snatches the video and it's on his YouTube page. So if you find his YouTube page, it's on there. But so I put this video out, and I make the video because I'm at the time. This is my experience. I'm a black man, you know what I'm saying? And
I'm sure it had truth too.
Black was an actual thing. And so basically the twist that I put on the skit was that it'd be interesting if you would be dressed like this, and when you get pulled over in a flash, you switch your clothing. Now I got on glasses.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But so here's why I got in trouble. So I use real cops in my skit, right? These are real cops. Real cops, cops. So,
DC,
yeah. So they got the badges on, like, and so they doing like real. They like you got, you know what I mean? Like I felt like there was nothing in the car. Now you got coke on you. Like it was one of those. It was one of those, right? And so pull them out the car, the whole thing. And so these cops get in trouble, bro. Like they literally, bro, it goes crazy, bro. So were they black cops, white cops? They were black cops.
Okay.
And so they were on suspension. They were put on suspension.
Really?
Man, this bro, like bro, I tell you, like it's bro, that whole viral stuff is not what you want all the time. So boom. So they get on suspension. And then I start getting all of these calls, bro. Like I got called from the very first call I got was from Fox. And they were like, we want you to come on and we want you to talk about it. And I'm like, I'm not talking about this on Fox. Y'all gonna tell me a new ass. I was like, this is a racist platform. I'm not doing that. And so then I'm like, no, I tell them no. So then CNN calls. And I'm like,
right.
I'm like, dang. And at the time, I'm not thinking like, man, I'm not thinking about it. Like if I went back, I probably would have did it because then it would have put me in a different space.
Right.
But I wasn't ready for the space that it was.
Your first two videos, they go viral and you take a huge hit like that.
Stand up for about 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I veto everything. Like, I'm like, no. So, like, New York Times, Washington Post, like, bro, when I say every major platform outlet wanted to interview me and talk about this one specific thing, because it was like, this was before. And this was as the emergence of this was right after Trayvon had got killed. So this was like,
so everybody was very hypersensitive to all of it. Well, that's what comedians. That's what the core of comedy freedom is being able to speak your mind and the freedom to speak your mind and twist it however you want to. It's for some people. It's not for some other people. So let me ask you this: after that moment, and even to this day, do you have, if you write a joke?
I shy away from the political humor. If you haven't,
right.
I could write it, but I'm like, I don't want no smoke because
I get that. Well, what I was gonna say is, do you have like Earl and a group of comedians that, hey, let me see if this flies over what you guys are. Do you do a test run with?
I have to do checks and balances.
What is that? Do you actually, before you go on stage, do you actually perform it in front of a small crowd or comedians? Like, hey, what do you think about this joke? Because you have to. Because I've heard stories.
Comedians, I hate that shit.
I've gone down rabbit holes on the internet. It's like, okay, do comedians like this is before I knew you were going to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, because there's a thing of comedians stealing other comedians' jokes, right?
Hell yeah.
And so, how do you balance the two? I don't know if you have
like. So you have your circle, right? You have your people that
are they comedians?
Well, mine's are, but
okay, but you trust them.
I trust them. Like we've been through life stuff together, and so I will. They'll come hear me. Like, so how I do it is I'm like, yo, I want you to hear that. I want you to hear my set, and so I'll perform it.
Bro, let me get an invite, bro. Let me get it. I just want to be there to laugh, bro.
The world just now opening back up. So I'll say, come down, hear me. I need you to come down to hear this set, and I might do 10 minutes of it, and I'll be like, what you think? And they'll be like, well, you could have did this more, you could have hit this here, but the overall bones of it is good, but you need to add pieces here and there.
This is legit, like you're back in the meeting room watching film, and the coach constantly critiquing you.
Yeah, and somebody, and you'll be like, Coach, well, what did I do wrong? You be like, you should have stepped with your left foot as opposed to stepping with your right foot. You stepped away when you should have stepped towards the play, right? You know what I mean?
So that just sparked another thought in my head that, Kevin Hart, everyone knows who Kevin Hart is, right?
Everybody knows Kevin.
And one of his docu series or whatever it was, he had a team of comedians around him. They were doing podcasts, they were flying around different shows. Is that sort of similar? And I don't know if in my mind, I'm envisioning you have that tight circle of guys.
I have a group like that, but I don't think I have that many. He has a good amount of guys with him.
Right. No, what? That's rare.
That's rare. But I don't think my circle isn't that big. I got like, it's me and Earl, which is, you're gonna always see me and
Earl. Earl is funny, man.
Yeah,
Earl is funny,
Earl's
bro.
Funny, man. He naturally, dog. He be having tears every day. You know what I'm saying? And so he's naturally just. Some people just gifted. You know what I mean? Like I'm funny, but that nigga's gifted. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, it's him, and so we talk, and we, just kind of just sometimes because you got to keep that energy flowing. Then I got an older comedian named Oral Henry, and he just kind of like he knows the business of comedy. Like he just
is he from DC area? Is he LA?
DC. He's from DC, and then my God, most of my guys are DC guys, and then Chico Wills. He's another guy just been around. Like they've been in the game.
Man, I have to give you your flowers once again, man, because while you've been to the house before, like we're right up the street from what's the performing arts school?
Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington. Mm-hmm. Duke Ellington, which is less than a mile away from here, and
Taraji,
who went to school? Taraji, Dave Chappelle was there. Like this school has produced some really big people in the entertainment business. Yeah. And to hear your story, where you started, and where you are now,
didn't even look at entertainment, right? Like
it's amazing that because what I see, and I want to tell you this personally, what I see is someone that's committed and dedicated and consistent. To what you're doing. Every time I turn around, you got a new video. Every time I turn around, you're doing something. So it leads me to this next question. How the hell did you in the relationship with Shaq come about? Because I saw you, this was a couple years ago, you were in Miami, and I know Shaq is a huge comedy fan. He's done shows in Cleveland when I used to play for Cleveland, and he's been attached to that world for a very long time.
For a long time. So I'm going to tell you how it happened. So somebody was like, my boy, Chris Bivens, he had a audition thing, like casting, and he works for BET. And so he's like, he had to put a casting thing up, and I'm like, yo, I call him. I'm like, yo, what's this? What's this thing? So then he's like, I'm doing a commercial. I'm doing a commercial for a Super Bowl spot. And I'm like, I need to audition for this. I don't care what I got to do. Like, send me the stuff. Right. And so I did it. And so they was like, yeah, we want you. We want you in this commercial. And so I'm like, cool. But they didn't say like who was going to be in it. They didn't say no details. I didn't even know that what kind of commercial it was. Until
really, you're just showing up.
No, it was like maybe a week prior, and then they send the sides over and like, this is the commercial. So I'm like, oh, it's a general commercial. Oh, this is dope. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I watch TV. I know Shaq is with the general. Like, maybe they're not doing a Shaq thing. Maybe they're doing something completely different. I don't know, because I seen that a new one had Snoop.
Right, because you would think they would say something if Shaq was a part of it.
Yeah, they would say something, right? So we get down there, and we in Miami, and this is literally the Super Bowl right before COVID hits.
Yeah.
And so, we down there and stuff, and everything is cool, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just cooling out. And so the lady walks up to me. She's like, okay, well, I don't want you to tell anybody, but Shaq is actually going to be pulling up shortly, and he's going to be a part of what we have going on. And
I'm like, because he's a huge businessman. He's a part of whatever to the outside looking in, he's a part of whatever he spends his money to.
Anything he's in, he has his image in, he usually owns ownership stake in it.
No doubt.
And so, there's that, right? So then I see, like, I'm already filming. I filmed like 2 or 3 things, and he gets out the truck, right? And it seems like he gets out the truck, and he don't stop standing up. And I'm like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? So
a lot bigger in person.
Yeah, so then he walks over with these soggy ass, look like swim shoes on. So I go in. Immediately I go at him. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you Shaq. I go at him. Right. And so he started laughing. So we going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we in like literally we can't get the filming off because we going back and forth so crazy, right? So him and I going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And
can he join a little bit? Because Shaq join.
He could go. Shaq can go.
Okay.
And so and so we going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so the director walked over and said, he talks to me like, can you cut it out, because we're trying to. I'm like, don't talk to me, talk to him. He can. If you say something to me, I'm gonna go back at you. Like it's
right. Yeah, that's how it goes. Right.
So then he's like, all right, cool. So then boom, everything kind of calms down. And so at the end of the shoot, he's like, man, are you a comic? I'm like, yeah, I'm a comic. He was like, man, look, I'm gonna be real with you. He said, this is the hardest that I ever laughed since Kobe has passed away. And so this was actually the first time he had actually been in public since the funeral. And so he was like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. Like, he was like, anything you need, anything. Just
that's big, man. Shaq seems like that type of dude, man. Just a genuine.
He really is that guy.
If he can help, he's gonna help.
He's gonna help.
Because that segued into I saw he was on your live. You had him on your Instagram live. That's huge, man. That's huge.
Like, we got that relationship, like how me and you talk, and I pick up the phone and I join on your ass. It's the same thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pick up the phone, I join on his ass. You know what I mean? I like one time I called him. He was on air at TNT. He got the clip.
Oh man, you should fry his ass.
He looks down at his phone. I'm frying him through text. Right? He looks down at his phone. He keeps doing this because I'm through text. And then he's trying to focus, and Charles is getting them too. Man, it's the funniest shit, right. It's the funniest shit I ever seen. But
oh man,
like that's my guy, dope, bro. Man. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying?
So because you're so, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good.
But because obviously we talk endless amounts of the comedy side of it. So let's pivot and go to sports and street talk. You're a part of. You got 2 other co-hosts, Josh Portis, who I know he was a quarterback at University of Maryland. He was an 8-year NFL veteran, and then you have Rock Jones? Rock Jones, yeah. Rock Jones. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's a farmer. Yeah, he's a cannabis farmer. And when I heard some of the takes, like, he seems like the most serious dude ever. His voice just comes on. Hey, yeah, I'm Rock Jones. Ain't about that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn. So how did that marriage come about? Yeah. So I saw the recent episode with Black China and Freeway Ricky Ross. Like, let me ask you, like, everybody who's been a fan of the rap game and know Rick Ross, the artist, like this is the real Rick Ross, live and in person. You guys had a chance to interview him, and I believe he was producing a book at the time.
Yeah, he got a book out. He's got a book out.
How did that kind of? I know I kind of said a lot there, but how did that kind of form itself in your busy schedule as being an actor, comedian? How did that all come about?
So, sports and street talk is one of those things, right, where I fit it in my schedule, and so usually we'll do like if I got a week block where I'm not really doing a lot, then we'll try to like compact as many shows into that week. So we did in this last week.
And it's hard to book people too, man. Like you guys
it really is. Yeah. Like we've been blessed to catch the talent that we got. It's still all through relationships, right? So one of the homies out here knows Rick. Like he really knows him. And so, you know, we got in through that relationship. So relationships has been the biggest thing that helped our podcast grow as fast as it's grown and as fast as it's growing. But we'll do like a block, like literally, bro. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we shot like 8 episodes in 4 days. Like it was like, bro, it was crazy. Like it was crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
just
like,
cranking them out.
Like you just going. So you know, that's how we did it. But to sit down and talk to Rick Ross, man, was probably one of my favorite episodes because, you know, I'm a fan of the street stuff, right? Like all of it. You know what I mean? And so he was talking about just like his, you know, how he got started and what his story was and what he did. And this man told us he had a $1 bill problem. I said, what does that even mean?
What?
Bro, he said, if I couldn't buy it with $1 bills, I didn't own it. I said,
wow. What? Yeah,
bro, that's that. Bro, that interview is
I gotta go back in.
Crazy, bro.
Like,
he took his bread and he bought if he couldn't buy with $1 bills, he didn't have it. And then he said everything else he bought more drugs with. Crazy, bro. Like it.
Wow.
To hear his story, he was like, man, he was like, you basically, and he's a deep guy too. He's like you subconsciously bring on everything you ever want in your life, good or bad. And he said that he was like,
excuse me.
He was like, he envisioned himself. He put himself in prison. He was like, because the only thing that he said that it was left to do in the drug game was to go to jail. And so he put himself in jail. Like, it's crazy. He was like, he thought himself in jail and he thought his way back home. I was like,
I gotta go back and check that.
You gotta watch that one. When that joint, it ain't dropped yet. It'll drop. It drops probably next week. But once it drops, you gotta check that one out. That's one of my favorites.
Is that what his book is basically detailing his life and
detailing the drug game? Like he gives you a step-by-step tutorial.
Wow.
On how to do
it. So the wifey, I told wifey I was you're gonna be on the podcast today. Okay. She's like, oh, remember, I think we actually clued in on this the last time we were either talking on the phone or something like that. That the fact that your mother and Christina's aunt have known each other as long as we've been alive.
Yes.
Like that's a small world, bro. That's a small world. My God.
And the only reason why I knew that is because so the last time I came over for the Christmas party, I was like, yeah, I'm going to DeQuell, my friend DQ's crib. I was leaving my mom's crib and I was coming to your house. She said, is he married to a girl? I'm like, yeah, mom, he's married to a girl. Like, what
you never know in DC. You never know. Each his own, you know.
She's like,
right. That's a fair question.
Yeah, it's a fair question. So she said, he's married to a girl by the name of Christina. I'm like, yeah, how do you know that? Like, right. Like, news. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not on Shade Room or something like that. How do you know that? And she's like, because her aunt is one of my best friends, Valerie. You know Valerie. I'm like, I know Valerie. She's like, she was like, yeah, that's her niece. I'm like, oh wow. So that's why when I came over that time, I was like, your Aunt Valerie? She was like,
yeah. That's great. Man, Aunt Val, she's one of my favorites, man.
Oh,
We try to get her to hang out as much as possible, but with COVID and all that, you gotta plan accordingly. But man, so at this part of the show, man, I have what I call my pick six. Right? And we got some great content from you. There's so much more. I could keep you on here for hours, but I know you got a busy schedule.
We can break down stuff all day.
Yeah, we all day. But this part of the show, I have what I call pick six, right? Pick six, as well as I do. Pick six is one of the big game-changing plays for a defensive player. So for you, I always kind of critique the questions based on who the guest is, but because you're a DC native, I got a little special sauce for you.
All right, you got creative with me.
Yeah, a little bit. So question number one.
All right.
I know we've talked about a lot, and it's been very insightful and all that good stuff. And because you're a comedian, and I can kind of relate, because when people know I play professionally, all they want to talk about is football, and they want to ask you football questions. And I imagine the same goes to you. And tell me a joke right now. I was like, man, get the hell out of my face.
Get out of my face. Right.
Question number one to you: can you tell us one thing about yourself that most people don't know about? Because you're pretty vulnerable on screen, to be an actor, to be a comedian.
I let it fly. People don't know the master's piece. I don't let that. I keep that one tight to the chest.
Hey man, celebrate it, bro. Celebrate it.
It's not that I don't. That's like my sneaky card. Like I play that. You know what I'm saying? Like I play
you're
that.
You're educated. You're an educated man. You can't tell a joke without having some creative.
Yeah. So that's I would say that's the one that people don't really know about. That's the I say it. You know what I mean? But when you see me as a comic, that's not the first thing you think about.
No, it's the first thing from. I was like, when I read, I was like, a master's in architecture. I'm like, damn, okay.
I would say this though. This is the other piece to that piece that'll connect the dots for you. So I own my own real estate development company.
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up.
I do that as an ode to my degree, because that gives me the opportunity to actually practice. So in all of my buildings that I own, I design.
Yes.
So, and I design for other people too. So I don't not design, you know what I mean? I just design selectively for who I want to design for.
Forgive me for not bringing that up, because that's one. I'm glad you brought it up. Not only did he play college football, you're an actor, comedian, master's. You have a master's degree in architecture, and you heavily into real estate.
Super.
Hey, listen, you're a well-rounded man.
I try to be.
So question number two in our pick six is, we kind of touched on it earlier, and we probably already know the answer to this, but question number two is, what's your favorite movie / sitcom? Because we have a comment that everyone I've had on this show has said, there's one answer that keeps coming up. I'm like, I have to keep asking this question.
Martin.
Because everyone, Martin. I guess I have to get some of my white buddies on the shows. Maybe they may not like Martin. I guess
they probably signed for but Martin is probably
had a huge influence on our culture, man. Martin, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all of that, man.
The Jamie
In Living Color, Jamie Foxx show.
In Living Color, bro, is probably another one of my favorite all-time. Like them skits on there.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're legendary, bro.
Legendary, bro. Legendary. So I would say it's in this order, and you didn't ask me an order, but who gives a shit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Martin, In Living Color, Fresh Prince, Jamie Foxx show.
Okay, I can't disagree with you.
Order. And then my favorite movie, I would have to say, comedy wise,
give me anything.
I'm gonna go two. I'm gonna go Friday, and then I'm gonna go Bad Boys.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that, brother.
I gotta go.
Yeah. You keep it honest. You're a man of your craft. Yeah. So question number three, I didn't even write a question. I just put go-go music. Before you say anything, I've asked Vernon. Vernon was on the show some time ago, and I set it up like hip hop, R&B, pop, whatever, go-go. Yeah. I knew what he was going to ask, right? Yeah. But what I want to ask you is, because you're a guy, as a comedian, And from this area, you got to be connected to your home, your community.
Yeah,
you know, or else you don't get any laughs, right?
Absolutely.
That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
So my question to you is, when the hell? So I've been here. This is gonna be a long, drawn out question, right?
All right.
So I've been here. I went to school here in Maryland. I moved here in 2012 full time. I'm here with my wife Christina. You know, we got a 2-year-old.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful
thank
son.
you.
Yeah.
So go-go music. My question to you is, when the hell do you listen to go-go music? And before you say anything, my experience of go-go music is like a cookout, or you walking through the U Street corridor area and you have a live band. For people who've never been to DC,
it's crazy.
If you walk on U Street, the corridor area, there'll be a live band playing go-go music. That's my interpretation of go-go music. So my question to you is, when do you listen to go-go music? Like, as from a DC, being in this area, how would you say?
Growing up, I mean, it was all the time because my dad is a go-go head, right? So Sunday morning, like, you know, depends on, and it honestly depends on his mood. Like, you know, he would get up and clean and stuff, and you know, you parents clean on Sunday. Sometimes, some days he'd be playing Sade. I'll be playing Chuck Brown. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on his mood. But go-go was a thing in my house all the time. Like, it just depends. Like, it depending on your mood. Like, if we pulling up to the game, like as a little league, we pulling up to the game. My father playing Sade. You know what I'm saying? Like, we pulling up to the game. I'm like, so I'm hyped. You know what I mean? Like, like for me, it's a mood and energy thing. So like, if I'm feeling real back home, or if I'm missing back home, I throw some go-go on. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a nice day and I'm feeling good, I might play play that Chuck Brown cookout on a barbecue joint. You know, like it depends on how I'm feeling. It's no specific, you know.
Okay, because that's my. Anytime I've ever heard go-go music, if Christine, you know that skit Dave Chappelle does on his show where he plays the bass guitar and he plays the drums, and based on your ethnicity, your ethnic group, you like respond to it. Right. If go-go music comes on, me and Christina, I don't care. We could be suited and booted. She'll break out, bro. Like, it's a trend. It's a trend, bro. And quiet as kept, it's grown on me, man. Like, I used to hate go-go, and now it's like, and now it's like, I appreciate it, bro. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So question number 4. This is more of an industry question. All right. In your experience and the guys that you've met in the comedic, circuit and all that good stuff, are there any names that we should look out for that are up and coming comedians that's on the circuit or on the ground right now?
So I'm gonna drop a couple names. So me,
no doubt.
First, then my boy Earl Evans for sure.
Earl is funny.
Earl Evans Cofield. So him, Chico Will, Oral Henry. Those are my guys. Skip. Comedian Skip. Dwayne Watts. Paris Sachet is a.
Are they local guys here or kind
so
of?
They were all. These are all DC comics originally, but then they actually moved. Some of these people live in different places. Right.
I figure you guys are on the go all the time and different opportunities come up. So got it.
Leonard Oots. Love Leonard Oots. Leonard Oots is from VA. One of my guys. He's done the Letterman show. You know, he's you know what I'm saying? He's
I should have been writing these down, man. I'm gonna get with you after this. So.
Yeah. And then who else? Rollo Boykins, very funny comedian. Reminds me a lot of Donnell Rollins. They have the same kind of style.
Cool, man. I saw him do stand up in New York years ago, man. Donnell Rollins in person hits a lot different than when you watch him on the screen. No, his little like twitches and like reenactments and all that, bro.
I remember a show that I did with he got a joke, man. He was like, he said, back in the day, a slave trying to learn ABCs like A's a B's a C's. Oh, nigga, that shit, I was dead, son. Hey, I was like, oh my God. Funny as hell, bro. Funny. That's cool. It's something different about I think that's the end of my list, but it's something different about DC comedians, man. It's just the way that think.
Nah,
And
man,
the way
I feel
that
you
we
on
do
that.
comedy is so
Right.
different, bro. Like,
Right. I agree. I agree, man. That's why I wanted to have you on, so our listeners and viewers will hear it first here, because you're right on that cusp, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're right on that cusp because you're committed to your craft, you're consistent, and you're working your ass off. And that's the recipe for success, man.
Appreciate
so we got 2 questions left. Question number 5. I had 3 of them here that I could choose from, but I'm gonna ask you this because you're like a Renaissance man. And anytime I've asked this question, I got some really good good answers. What was it? It's very simple. What was your first job you've ever had?
I was a lifeguard.
What?
Yeah.
A lifeguard? Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, a brother that can swim.
I swear, bro. My first job was a lifeguard, bro. Yep.
Did you save anybody?
I worked.
Could you swim? Could you swim, or did you swindle into giving you the job?
No, I can swim. I can really swim. I can really swim.
Okay.
My very first job was a lifeguard, and I had to save somebody, and they almost drowned because I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at some girl's ass. Girl's ass, and the motherfucker was drowning right underneath me. Like, I'm like, yo, that's what I wanted to do to her ass. I'm
Oh man!
All right, and I jumped in to save their ass. But yeah, my first job was a lifeguard. I was a lifeguard.
That's hilarious. I think I asked that question to my buddy Madu Williams.
Okay.
And we had similar stories because he worked at a grocery store. And the first job I ever had was I was a bagger. Only worked 4 hours Saturday and Sunday. And just like some black folks, you take your break. 30 minutes turned into an hour and 30 minutes. They caught me. They caught me on the toilet reading magazines and all that. I was like, got fired right on the spot. But here's the thing. So last question, because from my time being here in the city and knowing my wife's family, they're diehard football fans. They're diehard Washington football fans. Yeah. I gotta ask you this.
Yeah, what you
okay? Because she has an uncle who's a diehard Washington football team fan, and his wife is a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. Mm-hmm. And you see my voice is changing right now because this is very serious. Because I think I know your answer to this.
I don't think you know. But
the Washington football team or the Dallas Cowboys?
I'm a football team guy.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were going to say Dallas Cowboys. I really did.
Hell no.
I really did, bro. I really thought.
But do you know why that? I'm gonna inform you. Listen, do you know why that exists?
No, I don't.
Do you know why that dichotomy exists between Dallas Cowboys fans and Redskins and Washington football team? So back in the day, the Washington Redskins didn't have any black people on the team.
Black people, yes, yeah.
So Dallas Cowboys had black people on the team, and they were actually the first to have black people on the team.
So the Washington Redskins at the time were the last team to integrate.
Correct.
I have heard this story.
So that's why that exists. So that's why so many Cowboys fans in DC, because DC was Chocolate City, it was super pro black, and we were like, we're not gonna. There's no way that you're going to be a team in DC and we're going to root for you and you're in Chocolate City. Because at the time, that stadium, the original Redskins stadium, is in Southeast. Right. So it don't get no blacker than that. So it's like, we're not going to root for you. We're going to root directly against you. And then the Cowboys and the Indians thing. So then they end up going with the Cowboys. So that's how the split of the Dallas Cowboys Washington Redskins thing, it happened in the city. That's where it came from.
You learn something every day. Well, man, I feel like we covered a lot. Like I said, we could talk for hours on end over a cocktail or some wine. When next time you're in town, hit me up, bro. Whether it's at the house.
I'm gonna bring my lady by, man. I want her to meet y'all, man.
Yes, I got the. If we want to smoke a cigar, you can get in the pool. We could, we can chop it up the way we chop it up.
We should be. I actually come back. I'm filming a movie on the 10th, and she should be. She's gonna do studio sessions in Atlanta, and then she'll come up. And then so we'll come by around that time, like around the 12th or 13th.
So you've been asking, Rob. About my situation behind me, man. So
I want to know I mean, you got a nice little setup. So let's explain this setup real quick.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. So everything behind me is who I am, right? So that's where when I thought about the idea of shooting a podcast and what visual imagery people were going to see that I was going to give out to the world, I wanted to express myself. So it's all the things that are important to me.
Gotcha.
Clearly, I got a card from my wife. You know, you're definitely completely my soulmate. I had obviously the Colts, which I played for 3 years, the Browns. But this piece here is one of my special pieces because
that's the thinking, man.
That's it.
That's how you got fired. That's how you got fired.
You got a damn good memory, bro. You got a damn good memory. That's the thinking, man. I bought that in
that's an ode to
Sierra
your
Leone.
first job. That's an ode to your first job when you got fired.
right. Flipping through the magazine. yeah. You spot on. But this trophy here is really special to me because it was my senior year. I was so University of Maryland, they choose the MVP of the school and from athletics, and they chose me. So it looks like a Heisman-ish.
It looked like a Heisman.
Trophy.
I thought it was the Heisman. I'm like, when did you win a Heisman? Or who did you steal? You stole that from Reggie Bush when you closed behind him? No, I'm
hey, yeah, I tried to.
Right.
So that's something that's special to me. I have a Muhammad Ali. I bought it in auction at an NFL auction throughout Super Bowl week. I'm into boxing. You can't see it right now off camera, but I had a commissioned portrait of Muhammad Ali dripped in American flag. When it was that transition between him becoming Muhammad Ali. So that piece is very special to me, man. It's just
give me that. I want to see that.
Let me tell you this. So this piece here.
What is that?
I can get it out. So what does it look like? Right?
A liquor bottle.
It's a gas can. so I actually in Sierra Leone, the people are so the ingenuity of these people. It was at a big flea market, and I picked it up, and the person that was sitting next to this display of just artifacts grabbed it out my hand really quick, and I was like, "Oh, okay, you have it." Yeah, She started playing something.
A Jumba.
So it's an instrument. It's a musical instrument.
It's part of the Jumba.
Okay, you know it better than I do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought it was something that exemplified like where I was at the time. Because Sierra Leone was, dirt poor, and the ingenuity of those people. I just thought it was fascinating. So it's something that is near and dear to my heart. I just have.
That's called a Jumba.
I got random books behind me that I picked up and read.
You ain't read none of them books.
Hey, listen. The last book I read.
What's the last book you read?
Okay, right here. I read it from cover to from cover to the back.
Both covers. You read the front cover and the back.
It's my man. So I'm gonna try to be serious for a second if I could, because it's impossible with you. But this guy named Trevor Mual. Like in 2010, 2011, I was in a dark place in my life, and I was in Bradenton, Florida, and I was at a place called IMG Academy, and I was going through a lot of things in my life just weren't adding up. I had been injured 2 years in a row. I think you know this.
Yep.
And I was in a dark place, and a buddy of mine called me and asked me if I wanted to go to Sierra Leone. So that's how Sierra Leone became a very special piece in my life. And I took a chance. I decided to, get out of my comfort zone and do it, and it changed my life. But this guy who wrote the book, he was a sports psychiatrist. And, as well, Black men, we have this stigma in our community where we feel like we have all the answers, we can do it ourselves and all that, crap. And I finally took a chance. He sat me down. It completely changed my life, and he wrote a book. And it's very inspirational.
That's the book he wrote about your life?
No, not not about my life, but about his different experiences and working with guys like Fred Taylor, who was quote unquote injury prone, and it was all mental. So I became heavily invested into the mental side of the game as well as the physical side. So this is a special book to me, man. But Yeah, I appreciate you asking about it, man. No one at this point has ever asked me about anything behind me, man.
Yeah, because some of that stuff don't make sense. Like that's
I got my. What you mean?
That
bro?
don't make sense.
I used to skateboard back in the day, bro.
Yeah.
I used to try.
12. Like you ain't. When is the last time you been on a skateboard?
Probably about 2 years ago. I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly.
I ain't gonna lie.
Exactly.
But I bring it out though. If you come over, I'll bring it out, bro. I can do an ollie, kickflip, all that.
Yeah. Ollie, kickflip.
Okay.
In the
okay, you better ask about me. About me.
What's them liquor bottles up top? What you got to
Oh my man. Let me turn the camera up. Okay, so you can see. Hold on. I'm going the opposite direction. Hold on. So because I'm a huge, I love Italian wines. And if you ever go to Italy, the after drink that they give you, it's like a digestive. It's called grappa. It's grappa. It's made from the skin of the grape. And this one here, dog. You got me breaking shit, man.
You breaking stuff up in your own shit.
So this is called Amarone. It's a grappa. It's like if I could explain it to you, you go to the gas station, you get it's 87 to 93.
Right.
This here's like an 87, right?
It's an 87.
Grappa is very strong, and it's like ammonia. It's very strong.
That's a regular.
This is like middle of the road type of
middle tier gas. Middle tier gas.
Yeah. This one here though, I've had this bottle for. I might have tried to get you to drink it.
You got me to drink that. I think that's the grappa I drink.
Yeah, this is octane. This is premium that's 93 gas.
That's 93.
This is gas.
Yeah.
And if you drink this, everything is moving throughout that body. You hear me?
I think I shit it.
Yeah, I probably did. I probably did. Anytime I'm playing pool, this is my
I think
my
I
secret
shit
right here.
Twice in your bathroom after drinking that grappa. That's it. Burn right through me.
Yeah, man. Seriously, man. When you're in town, man, if your gal's with you, hit me up. Yeah. You know, I have a good relationship in the city with some, Michelin star places. We can do it nice, sexy. We can have some good wine, cigars, good conversation, and all that good stuff, man.
Let's do it, man.
Again, I appreciate the time and the perspective, bro.
Absolutely.
Love you, bro. I'm one of your biggest supporter, man, and keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Absolutely. You too, man. This podcast is dope. This is
appreciate it.
And refreshing.
Mr. Funny Man. Okay. Well, Rob, again, for all the listeners, all the viewers, go follow Rob Gordon at It's Rob Gordon. I appreciate your time, your perspective as always. You're my man, 100 grand.
Love you
Keep
too,
pushing forward, bro. And I'm your biggest fan. All I ask is when you really blow up, just let me buy a ticket wherever you go.
That's a guarantee. I'm gonna charge you more for the tickets just because I know you got it.
Hey, Rob, appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you, brother.